because this beautiful big body is making me big money.
Going from WNBA star to OnlyFans is certainly a giant leap, but Elizabeth Cambage somehow managed to pull it off. Now other WNBA stars are following in her footsteps, and word on the street is that Angel Reese is one of them. Let's get into it. The rise and fall of a basketball giant. In the world of women's basketball, few names have sparked as much controversy and conversation as Elizabeth Cambage. Standing at an imposing 6'8", this Australian-born powerhouse didn't just tower over her opponents on the court. She towered over the entire landscape of women's professional basketball, redefining what it meant to be a dominant force in the WNBA. She was born on August 18, 1991, in London to a Nigerian father and Australian mother. Growing up in Australia, Elizabeth faced challenges that would have crushed many young people. By the age of 15, she had already reached the staggering height of 6'5", making her a target for relentless teasing and social isolation. The cruel remarks, the stares, the constant feeling of not fitting in, these weren't just momentary inconveniences, but daily realities that shaped her character and worldview.
I've always been so beautifully blessed with this height since I was born. Like my mom said, I was 6.9 pounds, I think, when I was born, which I think is kind of light. But she just said I was so long. I was just long and skinny, and I've just been like that my whole life. Head and shoulders above the rest.
But where others might have retreated, Elizabeth found her sanctuary on the basketball court. She joined the Dandenong Rangers in the Australian WNBL for the 2007-08 season. And it was here that her extraordinary talent began to shine through the darkness of adolescent struggles. Basketball became more than just a sport for her. It became a language through which she could express her power, her grace, and her undeniable presence in ways that transcended the limitations society tried to place on her. Her ascent through the ranks of women's basketball was nothing short of meteoric. She earned a spot on the Australian junior women's national team, where she won gold at the 2009 Oceania World Qualification Series and silver at the William Jones Cup. These weren't just victories, they were statements of intent, early indicators that Elizabeth Cambage was destined for greatness on the international stage. The pinnacle of her early career came when she represented the Australian Opals, securing a bronze medal at the 2012 London Olympics, where her international achievements continued to mount with impressive consistency. She later secured a silver at the 2018 FIBA World Cup and a gold at the 2018 Commonwealth Games, each medal representing not just personal success, but also her growing influence on the global stage of women's basketball. These weren't just games. They were platforms where Elizabeth showcased not only her athletic prowess, but also her fierce competitiveness and unwavering commitment to excellence. When the WNBA came calling, it should have been the culmination of every young basketball player's dreams. Drafted second overall by the Tulsa Shock in 2011, Elizabeth was positioned to become the face of the franchise, a cornerstone around which an entire team could be built. But even from the very beginning, cracks in the foundation were evident. Her response to being drafted was telling and prophetic. "I don't want to play at Tulsa. I've made that clear. They want to make me a franchise player, but I'm not going to the WNBA for that." This wasn't just rookie reluctance or typical draft day nerves. This was a young woman who had already begun to see the inherent limitations and frustrations that would define her relationship with the WNBA for years to come. Despite her reservations, she played one season with the Shock, earning All-Star honors, proving that her talent was undeniable, even when her heart wasn't fully invested in the American professional basketball experience. The financial realities of the WNBA quickly became apparent, and they were stark. She left for China's Zhejiang Chuzhou, where she reportedly earned $400,000, 10 times her WNBA salary.
I only want to play where I know I'm paid well and I'm looked after. China was always that for me. I played more seasons in China than I did here. And people don't know this. I disappeared like after Tulsa. I think I sat out of the league like 5 seasons.
This wasn't just about money. It was about recognition, respect, and the fundamental question of value. How could a player of her caliber, with her international achievements and undeniable impact on the game, be worth so little in the supposedly premier women's basketball league in the world? She returned to the Shock in 2013 for 20 games, before taking a 5-year hiatus from the WNBA, a decision that spoke volumes about her growing disillusionment with the American professional basketball system. This wasn't a temporary setback or a strategic career move. This was a conscious choice to step away from what many considered the pinnacle of women's basketball, because the experience had become untenable. When she finally returned to the WNBA in 2018, it was with renewed hope and determination. She signed a multi-year deal with the Dallas Wings, and for a brief moment, it seemed like the marriage between Elizabeth Cambage and the WNBA might finally work. And then magic happened on the court. On July 17, 2018, she delivered a historic 53-point game against the New York Liberty, tying the WNBA single-game scoring record with Aja Wilson. This wasn't just a basketball game. It was a masterclass in dominance, a reminder of what Elizabeth Cambage could achieve when everything aligned perfectly. She led the league in scoring that year, averaging 23.0 points and 9.7 rebounds per game, and earned All-Star selections in 2018 and 2019. These numbers tell only part of the story. Behind each statistic was a woman fighting not just opponents on the court, but systemic challenges that went far beyond basketball. Every point scored, every rebound grabbed, every All-Star selection was achieved while navigating a professional environment that often seemed designed to minimize rather than maximize her potential and value. She was traded to the Las Vegas Aces in 2019, another move in what was becoming a pattern of instability and friction with WNBA organizations. The promise of a fresh start in Las Vegas quickly gave way to new challenges, and she sat out the 2020 season due to COVID-19 health concerns, as assessed by the team doctor. Her final WNBA chapter began with hope, but ended in frustration. She signed with the Los Angeles Sparks in February 2022, but requested a contract release in July 2022, citing a toxic team environment. The word toxic wasn't used lightly. It was a deliberate choice that encapsulated years of accumulated frustration, disrespect, and systemic failures that had made her professional basketball experience increasingly unbearable. On August 15, 2022, she stepped away from the WNBA entirely, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter that would shock the sports world. Over her 6 WNBA seasons, she averaged 15.8 points and 7.5 rebounds per game, shooting 53.9% from the field, numbers that told the story of a dominant player whose potential was never fully realized within the constraints of the American professional basketball system. But even as her WNBA career was ending, her international career continued to flourish, providing a stark contrast to her American professional experience. She won WNBL championships in 2011 and 2014, and in 2024, she joined Sichuan Yuanda in the Women's Chinese Basketball Association, WCBA, averaging 23.1 points and 11.3 rebounds over 18 games, helping secure a championship. The financial contrast was even more striking. Her international earnings, including a reported $1 million for a 3-month contract with Sichuan in 2023, far outpaced her WNBA salaries. As Elizabeth Cambage's traditional basketball career was reaching its crossroads, the stage was being set for a decision that would redefine not just her own future, but spark a broader conversation about athlete autonomy, financial independence, and the evolving landscape of professional sports in the digital age. The controversial turn and OnlyFans revolution. Beneath all these professional controversies lay deeper, more personal struggles that Elizabeth had been courageously open about. She has been open about her mental health struggles, detailing in a 2019 Players Tribune essay her battles with depression, substance abuse, and a 2016 suicide watch. This wasn't just candor. It was a cry for help and understanding from a woman who had been carrying enormous burdens while trying to perform at the highest level of professional basketball. She criticized the WNBA's inadequate mental health support and commercial flight policies, which were particularly burdensome for her nearly 7-foot frame. These weren't minor inconveniences, but daily reminders of how the system was fundamentally ill-equipped to support someone of her unique physical and psychological needs. Every flight became a physical ordeal, every team interaction a potential trigger for mental health challenges that the league seemed unprepared to address. It was against this backdrop of professional frustration, personal struggle, and systemic inadequacy that Elizabeth Cambage made a decision that would shock the sports world and ignite conversations about athlete autonomy that continue to this day. In 2021, she joined OnlyFans, a platform known for adult content, but also used for exclusive creative material. The decision wasn't made lightly or impulsively. She told the Herald Sun she was initially scared, but encouraged by friends and family, revealing the vulnerability and uncertainty that accompanied this career pivot. Her reasoning was both practical and defiant. Every other girl is on OnlyFans at the moment, all the influencers, so I thought, just do it. But Elizabeth's OnlyFans content wasn't simply adult material. It was a carefully curated extension of her existing brand and interests. Her content includes fashion-forward, artistic, and suggestive photo shoots reflecting her modeling passion and body positivity advocacy.
Like, I don't know if it's ego or just like a little pat on the back, because like it does empower me to know that just like I'm making money off my toes.
This approach was consistent with her previous work, as seen in her 2019 ESPN Body Issue cover and Savage X Fenty campaigns. In interviews, she emphasized, "Basketball was a part of me, but it wasn't all of me," highlighting her desire to explore modeling and personal freedom. The financial impact was immediate and staggering. Cambage reportedly earned more in her first week on OnlyFans than her entire WNBA career, a statistic that perfectly encapsulated the economic disparity that had driven her frustration with professional basketball. With annual earnings estimated at $1.5 million, she was earning more than 6 times her peak WNBA salary of $221,450 in 2021 with the Aces. The fact that she could earn more in a single week through personal content creation than she had earned in 6 years of professional basketball at the highest level spoke to fundamental problems with how women's sports were structured and valued. It reignited discussions about the gender pay gap in sports. WNBA salaries, capped by the league's collective bargaining agreement, pale in comparison to NBA earnings, pushing players like Cambage to seek lucrative alternatives. Her move also sparked intense debate, with some criticizing it as a step away from her athletic legacy, while others, including Cambage herself, argued it challenged double standards and highlighted the WNBA's pay disparity. The criticism often revealed more about societal attitudes toward female sexuality and autonomy than it did about her choices. Critics argued her move to adult content tarnished her reputation or set a poor example, while supporters framed it as empowerment and a rejection of societal norms that restrict female athletes' sexuality and autonomy. Posts on social media reflected these mixed sentiments, with some marveling at her earnings and others debating her legacy. Notwithstanding the criticisms she faces, Elizabeth Cambage seems to prefer this new line of work, and if rumors are to be believed, she may not be the only one in the WNBA who feels this way. Social media platforms have been rife with allegations linking WNBA star Angel Reese to the adult industry, drawing parallels to Cambage. These rumors often stem from Reese's high-profile status and outspoken persona, much like Cambage, who faced similar unfounded claims during her career. Both players, as prominent black women in the WNBA, have faced racially charged scrutiny, with social media amplifying malicious narratives to tarnish their reputations. No credible evidence supports these claims against Reese yet, but she has not directly addressed these allegations publicly. The adult content rumors persist online, fueled by anonymous accounts and sensationalism. This could harm Reese's career in multiple ways. Her marketability, crucial for endorsements given her $73,439 rookie salary, might suffer if sponsors avoid controversy. The emotional toll of ongoing harassment, including racist attacks noted in her comments about needing support, could impact her mental health and performance, especially after a wrist injury ended her 2024 season early. Reese's resilience shines through her historic double-double streak and leadership in rebounding, 13.1 per game in 2024. Her involvement in the unrivaled league and advocacy for better WNBA pay, including hints at a potential strike, show her focus. However, these unaddressed allegations on social media could continue to challenge Reese's reputation and focus. But even though Angel Reese doesn't seem to have followed in the footsteps of Elizabeth Cambage, there might be other athletes, within and outside the WNBA, who just might take that route. After all, there have been athletes who have successfully made the switch to making adult content online, and they seem happy with their decision. The ripple effect and future of female athletes. Elizabeth Cambage's transition to OnlyFans didn't occur in a vacuum. It was part of a broader trend that had been quietly building within the world of female athletics, where talented women were increasingly looking beyond traditional sports structures to find financial stability, creative fulfillment, and personal autonomy. Consider the story of Renee Gracie, whose journey from the racing circuits of Australia to OnlyFans success mirrors many of the themes present in Elizabeth Cambage's transformation. Renee Gracie, an Australian former V8 supercars driver, competed in the Bathurst 1000, but faced challenges with poor performances, leading to her replacement in 2017. Struggling financially, she worked at a second-hand car dealership before turning to OnlyFans. The financial transformation was even more dramatic than Cambage's. Gracie has reportedly earned over $6 million on the platform by 2022, far surpassing her motorsport earnings. Her response to this success was telling, "I love OnlyFans, the concept and how it changed my life," citing financial stability. She paid off a 30-year home loan in just 12 months, and personal fulfillment as key motivators. The parallel between Gracie's and Cambage's experiences highlights a crucial reality. For many female athletes, traditional sports careers simply don't provide the financial security or recognition that platforms like OnlyFans can offer. Gracie's move was driven by the need to escape financial hardship and capitalize on the lucrative adult content market, motivations that resonate with athletes across disciplines who have found themselves financially struggling despite their athletic achievements. The mixed martial arts world provides another compelling example example through Paige VanZant, whose transition illustrates the financial disparities that exist even within relatively high-profile sports. Paige VanZant, a former UFC fighter, competed in mixed martial arts from 2012 until her release in 2020 after a 5-4 record. Despite her visibility and marketing appeal, she found greater financial success on OnlyFans, revealing in 2022 that she earned more in 24 hours on the platform than in her entire UFC career. OnlyFans has definitely been my largest source of income, VanZant stated, a revelation that underscores the profound economic challenges facing female athletes across all sports. Her motivation stemmed from the disparity between her UFC earnings and the platform's potential, alongside a desire to control her brand and content in ways that traditional sports structures hadn't allowed. The gymnastics world offers yet another perspective through Verona van der Loer, whose story adds layers of complexity to the narrative of athlete transitions. Dutch gymnast Verona van der Loer was named Sportswoman of the Year in 2002, but faced significant personal and professional setbacks, including homelessness, legal battles, and a brief prison stint. After retiring from gymnastics, she turned to OnlyFans to rebuild her life, with her motivations rooted in financial necessity and recovery from adversity. Van der Loer's story illustrates how OnlyFans can serve as more than just a financial platform. It can be a lifeline for athletes who have exhausted traditional avenues for success and stability. Her journey from national recognition to personal crisis to digital entrepreneurship reflects the precarious nature of athletic careers and the limited safety nets available to female athletes when their sports careers end. Not all athlete transitions to OnlyFans involve explicit content or represent complete career pivots. German bobsleigh star Lisa Buckwitz, a 2018 Winter Olympics gold medalist, joined OnlyFans in October 2024 after signing a sponsorship deal with the platform. Her approach was distinctly different. She vowed not to post nude content, instead focusing on fitness tips, team dynamics, and competition preparation. Fans get exclusive access to content that I don't normally share: the daily grind, the dynamics within the team, and the personal milestones, Buckwitz explained. Her motivation appeared to be supplementing her athletic career while maintaining control over her image, leveraging her Olympic fame to engage fans differently without compromising her professional sports identity. Buckwitz's approach suggests that OnlyFans and similar platforms might evolve beyond adult content to become legitimate spaces for athlete-fan interaction and content monetization. This evolution could provide female athletes with new revenue streams without requiring them to abandon their sports careers or cross traditional boundaries of athletic propriety. The boxing world contributes another dimension to this discussion through Ebony Bridges, whose transition represents a more strategic blend of athletic and personal branding. Australian boxer Ebony Bridges, known for her lingerie weigh-in appearances, joined OnlyFans in 2022. A former world champion, she charges $29.99 per month for steamy photos and training camp insights. Bridges' move was a natural extension of her public persona, which already embraced a sexualized image to boost her boxing profile. Her motivations included financial gain and fan engagement, capitalizing on her marketability in a sport where women's earnings often lag behind men's. Her OnlyFans success complemented rather than replaced her boxing career, reflecting a strategic approach to personal branding that maximized her earning potential across multiple platforms. The swimming world has also seen athletes make this transition, though sometimes under controversial circumstances. Paraguayan swimmer Luana Alonso, age 20, was expelled from her national team in 2024 for allegedly creating an inappropriate atmosphere. She joined OnlyFans, posting bikini photos but avoiding fully topless content. Her motivation was likely financial, aiming to support herself post-expulsion, though she denied the allegations against her. Alonso's story highlights the potential risks and complications that can arise when athletes choose to monetize their personal brands in ways that conflict with traditional sporting expectations. The platform offered her a way to maintain visibility and income outside traditional sports structures, but it also contributed to the circumstances that led to her expulsion from competitive swimming. The winter sports world provides another perspective through Melo Amai, whose transition represents one of the more dramatic career pivots in this landscape. Japanese snowboarder Melo Amai competed in the 2006 Turin Olympics, but quit after a severe halfpipe crash. Disillusioned with snowboarding, she transitioned to a career in softcore adult films and later OnlyFans. Amai's shift reflected a pragmatic response to the limited longevity of her athletic career, with financial necessity driving her decision as her Olympic career didn't yield sustainable earnings. Her story illustrates how the adult industry can offer athletes a quick financial solution when traditional sports careers end prematurely or fail to provide adequate long-term security. The common threads running through these diverse stories reveal systemic issues that extend far beyond individual choices. The primary motivation across these athletes is financial, as women's sports often offer lower salaries salaries and fewer sponsorship opportunities compared to men's, pushing athletes toward platforms like OnlyFans where they can earn significantly more. Personal empowerment and control over their image are recurring themes, as athletes use OnlyFans to share content on their terms. Social media's role in amplifying personal brands also facilitates this transition, allowing athletes to bypass traditional media gatekeepers and connect directly with audiences willing to pay for exclusive content. However, these transitions come with significant trade-offs and risks. Some athletes face professional consequences, such as bans from their sports or team expulsions, highlighting the stigma and professional risks involved. The disparity in media coverage. Women's sports receive only 5.7% of airtime on ESPN's SportsCenter compared to men's, further underscores the economic pressures driving these transitions. The emergence of these transitions raises profound questions about the future of women's professional sports. If talented athletes can earn more through personal content creation, through athletic competition, what incentives exist for them to continue pursuing traditional sports careers? How might this trend affect the overall quality and competitiveness of women's professional leagues? The answer may lie in how sports organizations respond to these challenges. The success of athletes like Elizabeth Cambage and others on OnlyFans serves as a wake-up call for professional sports leagues, highlighting the urgent need for structural reforms that address compensation disparities, provide better support systems, and create more sustainable career paths for female athletes. Some leagues are beginning to respond to these pressures. The WNBA has made efforts to increase player salaries and benefits, though the improvements remain modest compared to the earning potential demonstrated by athletes on alternative platforms. The league's collective bargaining agreement continues to evolve, but the pace of change may not be sufficient to retain top talent, who recognize their market value extends beyond traditional sports structures. The cultural implications of this trend extend far beyond economics. Gender stereotypes and societal expectations play a significant role, with some athletes facing pressure to post sexualized content to gain visibility or sponsorships. This dynamic raises questions about whether the transition to platforms like OnlyFans represents true empowerment or simply a different form of exploitation within systems that continue to objectify female athletes. The long-term career implications for these athletes remain unclear. While some have found tremendous financial success, others face ongoing challenges related to reputation management, career longevity, and the sustainability of content creation as a primary income source. The digital landscape is notoriously unpredictable, and what generates significant revenue today may not remain viable indefinitely. For current and aspiring female athletes, the examples set by Elizabeth Cambage and others present both opportunities and dilemmas. The financial success stories are undeniable, but they also highlight the fundamental failures of traditional sports systems to adequately support and compensate female athletes. The question becomes whether these alternative paths represent necessary adaptations to systemic problems or symptoms of deeper issues that require more comprehensive solutions. The ripple effects of these transitions extend to younger generations of female athletes who are watching these developments and making their own calculations about career paths and priorities, finding greater success outside traditional sports structures. What message does this send about the value and viability of pursuing athletic excellence within established leagues and competitions? The response from sports organizations, sponsors, and media will likely determine whether these transitions represent a temporary trend or a fundamental shift in how female athletes approach their careers. The challenge lies in creating systems that recognize and compensate athletes for their true market value while maintaining the integrity and competitive nature of professional sports. Elizabeth Cambage's journey from WNBA frustration to OnlyFans success has become more than a personal career pivot. It has become a catalyst for broader conversations about athlete autonomy, gender equality in sports, and the evolving relationship between traditional athletics and digital entrepreneurship. Her story, along with those of other athletes who have made similar transitions, forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the current state of women's professional sports and the systemic changes needed to create more equitable and sustainable career paths for female athletes. As we look toward the future, the question isn't simply whether more WNBA stars will follow Elizabeth Cambage's path to OnlyFans, but whether the sports industry will implement the fundamental reforms necessary to make such transitions unnecessary. The talent, dedication, and entertainment value that these athletes bring to their sports should be adequately recognized and compensated within traditional structures, not forced to seek validation and financial stability through alternative platforms. The legacy of Elizabeth Cambage's transition may ultimately be measured not by her OnlyFans earnings, but by the reforms and improvements it catalyzes within women's professional sports. Her bold choice to prioritize her financial security and personal autonomy over traditional athletic expectations has illuminated problems that can no longer be ignored and sparked conversations that may lead to meaningful systemic change. The future of women's professional sports depends on how effectively leagues, organizations, and stakeholders respond to the challenges highlighted by these athlete transitions. The talent exists, the fan interest is growing, and the market demand is evident. What remains is the will to create structures that truly support and value female athletes in ways that make alternative career paths less appealing than continuing to compete at the highest levels of their sports. Elizabeth Cambage's story continues to evolve, but her impact on the conversation about women's sports, athlete autonomy, and the intersection of athletics and digital entrepreneurship has already been profound. Whether her path becomes a widely followed trend or remains an exceptional case study will depend largely on how the sports industry responds to the wake-up call her success has provided. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to watch another fascinating video like this, click on one of the boxes on your screen right now.